Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So I've got Bitcoin up here on the daily, and today, guys, we're starting off the day bullish. This is pretty good. We are maintaining support in here. Bitcoin is, well, it has been dipping down. You guys can see on the 1 hour. Here, let me get rid of some of that. On the 1 hour, we are seeing, Bitcoin retracing, coming back above this level here, trying to sneak out of that level of support. And as of the time of this recording, we've got one Bitcoin trading for over $61,000. So that's a positive sign there for the micro time frame, at least on the Bitcoin chart. Still got a lot of ways to go though. Summer is generally a slow time for cryptocurrencies in general, but Nick Crypto Crusader has a different opinion. July is setting the stage to be one of the most bullish months for the entire crypto market. So first of all, we got to look at what's going on behind the scenes. Ethereum ETF discussions are now heating up with predictions of inflows. S1s are being approved and traded beginning in the first week of July. So guys, July is just around the corner. We could see a difference with regards to sentiment in the crypto sector, and that would translate in price appreciation. If we see the ETF approval happen in the first week, altcoin holders, you need to buckle up. Ethereum will start to lead the market and steal the show away from Bitcoin. We will witness BTCD dropping, so that would be the Bitcoin dominance. Let's bring up BTCD here, and as you guys can see, Bitcoin dominance is rising a little bit here, 54.42%, and that dominance could in fact fall here. Let me throw it on the weekly to show you guys what has happened when altcoins generally do take over. So Bitcoin dominance occurs first, then we see a tipping point, altcoins take over, and then boom, Bitcoin dominance falls. So getting Bitcoin dominance in the low 40s or high 30s, that is generally, where the market tipping point sees its grand finale. So Nick is saying, Bitcoin dominance could fall, and that is when we're going to see ERC20 based projects follow Ethereum very closely. From that point, we just watch the alt season unfold at a very rapid pace, and we should also see Bitcoin hit about 80,000 to 100,000 per coin by the end of the summer. So that is not actually too far off from where Bitcoin is today. Bitcoin at 61,000 right now. Bringing it up to 80,000 would not be too far off those all-time highs. Bringing Bitcoin up to 80,000 is only another 32%. So I could see that realistically by the end of the summer, Bitcoin getting up to 80,000 as a conservative estimate, as high as 100,000. So that would be up 64% as a more aggressive estimate for Bitcoin price. Nick was also talking about Ethereum and how those ETFs could also influence the market here. Ethereum is almost at its all-time high, guys. And what we've seen in the past is when Ethereum does reach its all-time high, we see altcoins follow. It's almost like a metric, an indicator, a leading indicator as to where altcoins are going to go next. So Ethereum is only about 45% from its all-time high. It's in a downtrend right now, but Ethereum could pick up based on ETF news. We're seeing sentiment slowly creeping up, albeit not by much. It's still in neutral territory at 44. The market cap right now is at about 2.26 trillion. Volume's down by just over 8%. And we already talked about Bitcoin dominance. Generally speaking, not too much movement in the market. We have seen a bit of a decline for most coins. XRP, guys, as of the time of this recording, is trading in and around 47.5 cents. So there have been murmurings from specific TA guys that we're going to see an XRP hit 13 cents, the possibility that we could see it hit 13 cents. And so I know, I don't know how many of you guys have seen this video. Some of you guys are maybe kind of worried about it. I'm going to go over that. To set some of this up, though, we have to look at what's actually going on in the space in the United States specifically, because we got to remember the US, guys, the biggest crypto trading market. So most crypto traders reside in the United States, and US legislation is going to determine which coins do what. Now, we have to remember, XRP already has clarity. There has been some new news that has come out. Chad Steingraber here posting this. US Supreme Court / Chevron. Agencies like the SEC are no longer allowed to determine their own rules. So guys, this just came out yesterday, Friday. If you guys are watching this video on the day that I'm releasing it, the US Supreme Court's decision to overturn the Chevron doctrine, a 40-year-old court decision that defers to federal agencies to interpret the law how they see fit, could prove to be beneficial to the crypto industry. The Supreme Court justices voted 6-3 on Friday to overturn that doctrine. The opinion was led by Chief Justice John Roberts, and here's a quote: "Experience has also shown that Chevron is unworkable," Roberts said in his his opinion. The defining feature of this framework is the identification of statutory ambiguity, which requires deference at the doctrine second step. But the concept of ambiguity has always evaded meaningful definition. The Chevron doctrine, also called the Chevron deference, comes from a Supreme Court case in 1984. In that case, the Supreme Court put forth a legal test that said courts should defer to a federal agency's interpretation when the law is ambiguous. So, when in doubt, look to the federal court for interpretation of the law. And because crypto is so new, to a lot of people, especially to the legal world, especially to regulators, this is uncharted territory for them. And therefore they are looking for a way out, I guess, giving them some backup when they have to come out with cryptocurrency regulation. So this is now what we're seeing here. John Kay here saying any impact on the SEC versus Ripple case, will it affect the judge's rulings or make her reconsider this whole case? Slick saying SEC's rulemaking power just got reined in. Crypto cheers. This is big, guys. This is great for the crypto space. Boy, we need all the help we can get, says Geo here. Someone tell the Ripple judge then. And guys, does that mean we are going to see changes coming from the SEC? Well, apparently they're already happening. ISO 20022, let's do it here. Just notice this. Look at the new SEC website setup. Looks like they're trying to be more transparent. They have been criticized for not being so transparent. He posted just a little screenshot video here showing meetings and events, but now it looks as though you got more details with regards to those meetings and events here in one calendar. I don't know if that is because of anything that we've witnessed recently, or if it's just by coincidence. Bill Morgan here also wanting to sum this up. Okay, this is what Judge Amy Berman Jackson in her SEC versus Binance decision thought about aspects of the summary judgment decision of the Torres SEC Ripple case. Okay, Judge Torres's observations on the nature of the token itself were clarifying and persuasive. So she's on board with how Judge Torres has, made her decision regarding Ripple and the XRP cryptocurrency. Judge Torres's reasoning in respect to the third prong of Howey's expectations of profits based on the efforts of others, that you could distinguish between institutional and programmatic buyers of tokens, was preferred to the different reasoning of the Judge Rakoff in the Terraform case, that you couldn't. The persuasive value of the SEC versus Ripple decision has never looked better. So this is all positive news here coming from one of our pro XRP crypto lawyers here, Bill Morgan. Spirconi here saying, man, this asset is allergic to good news by design, says Bill. But guys, we are going to get there. It is just taking, a little longer than we had originally thought. John Kay here saying, with the ruling and the Supreme Court overturning the Chevron defense, I hope the SEC has enough common sense to expedite settlement and drop any appeal. So this is what we're now hoping for. Michael Branch bringing this to our attention. SEC lawyers Mark Fagel and James Farrell believe that there is going to be a settlement still between Ripple and the SEC. So guys, here it is. Final judgment on $2 billion in fines looms. Popular lawyers, including former SEC lawyers, weigh in on the odds of settlement, potential final date, and appeal by the SEC. The legal tussle between Ripple Labs and the SEC is one of the major lawsuits that can not only put crypto at the forefront, but is equally relevant for crypto regulatory clarity. The SEC has faced defeats recently, including the drop of civil charges against Ripple's executives Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse. Ripple CEO Garlinghouse revealed the company has spent over $200 million in its fight. So this is just the preamble here. But guys, potential settlement in the works. Lawyers, including former SEC lawyers Mark Fagel and James Farrell, believe a settlement between the SEC and Ripple can still happen. So they are saying, yes, there is still a possibility that we will settle. Jeremy Hogan, partner at Hogan & Hogan, said the lawsuit can still be settled, but it's unlikely as Ripple has the upper hand in the lawsuit after recent wins. So Jeremy Hogan coming out saying, probably not a settlement. This is going right to the end, just because Ripple does have the upper hand already. The SEC seeks to reveal sealed filings, arguing it is crucial for ruling on Ripple's current assets, so relevant to penalty amount of recent sales, injunctive relief and penalties, revenues and expenses, disgorgement, and the size of discounts to some institutional investors, investor harm. Ripple Labs has objected to the SEC's stance, stating that historical contracts are still relevant to the firm. The odds of the SEC appealing Judge Torres' summary judgment that XRP in itself, it's not a security under the Howey tests, are low, though. Comments by former SEC crypto enforcement chief Christina Littman made a buzz in the community as she thinks the SEC may not appeal against Judge Torres' decision on XRP. Here's the quote, guys. The SEC might just let the Ripple opinion stay there as the district court opinion and not risk elevating it to the circuit level. The Second Circuit Court earlier ruled in favor of Coinbase that secondary sales of cryptos are not securities, so we already have that as precedent. Down here, they talk a little bit about the Coinbase case, and then the final ruling date. Lawyers, including Fred Rispoli, said Judge Netburn and Torres can confer and determine that the issue before Netburn does not need to be ruled upon. If the ruling is in favor of Ripple, Judge Torres can bypass the expert witness to announce a final judgment on remedies and injunction. Lawyers claim that the final ruling to come substantially quicker than the summary judgment, likely within 60 to 90 days after the last brief. With the latest developments, including delays due to an election year, the XRP community has to wait until August or September for Judge Torres' final ruling. So we're still looking at, the end of the summer, maybe early fall. As per Brad Garlinghouse, he was saying September 21st in a bit of a tongue-in-cheek way. But here we have it, guys. More sources here suggesting this is going to be positive for Ripple and XRP. Now, Subjective Views also posted this. In relation to what happened at the most recent debate, we know that the election is in November, although it does not feel like it in some ways. Biden's administration is definitely pivoting on crypto. According to The Hill, former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, previously a contender for Joe Biden's running mate in 2020, will remain on Coinbase's Global Advisory Council while joining President Biden's re-election campaign as senior advisor. So she works for Coinbase, was a contender to be Joe Biden's running mate in 2020, and apparently she is still active in his re-election campaign. Listen to this.
Crypto doesn't have FDIC protections. You mentioned when you were mayor it being used as ransomware and holding hostage the city of Atlanta's computer system. Owning crypto doesn't give you a better credit score. It doesn't give you easier access to a mortgage. These are all things within the traditional financial system that, to my understanding, crypto does not help bridge. It's also volatile. So what's the use case here for the unbanked, for people who've been traditionally left out of the financial system? Why is it good for them?
Well, I had an opportunity yesterday to sit in the room with some very strong thought leaders during one of our global advisory meetings for Coinbase. And we heard from small business owners who've talked about how they are able to pay vendors, et cetera, and how it's able to reduce what they're paying in credit card fees. And I look at this is just the beginning. The financial institutions that we see today were not the financial institutions that we saw 100 years ago. We're still having discussions on how people can improve credit scores through paying their utilities on time. So I see it as an opportunity for an evolution. And it's not often, and we heard this repeatedly during our time together yesterday, it's not often that an industry is asking for regulation. Coinbase is being a leader in asking for more regulation so that we can deliver to consumers those things that are needed most. So again, for communities of color, quite often it is about building up a strong credit score. It is about bridging the wealth gap. And
I have a really specific question for you here. We only have a minute left here, and I really want to hear your opinion on this. Given that Trump has come out so vocally in favor of crypto, do you think that there are Democratic voters who are switching over because of crypto alone?
And again, my personal opinion, I know that there have been a lot of statements where at one time he was not in favor of crypto. I think that their leaders are being cautious, and understandably so. But I think when you're working hand in hand with the industry and everyone is coming from a place of getting to success, then I think that's a bipartisan issue that all elected officials and those seeking to hold office can rally around.
So didn't really answer the question, but gave her opinion about Donald Trump. Are Democratic voters changing their minds? And is the Biden campaign going pro-crypto? Well, we've already seen signs that they are. And, here we have Keisha Lance Bottoms, works for Coinbase, but also part of Joe Biden's re-election campaign. So that is very interesting. On top of which, I saw this, guys, from Black Swan Capitalist, the evolution of the monetary system. So regulators need to sort out that first. Worldwide, XRP is on a roll. Versan here had the opportunity to interview Rick Rule, and here's what he had to say about tokenized assets like XRP and XLM, changing the financial system, tokenizing assets like gold, silver, and other precious metals. Listen to this.
What are your thoughts on Ripple and the digital asset XRP?
I'm fascinated with the application of blockchain technology in the financialization of all markets. I can confirm firsthand that the World Gold Council and the Royal Canadian Mint are similarly fascinated.
Yeah.
And the idea that you could have a digital token that represented physical gold could be exchanged for physical gold, but could enjoy lower denomination, more liquidity, and less transaction cost is, I think, a reality in the not very distant future. Whether or not XRP is the technology that is going to be adopted. I similarly have noted in the quarterly from the Bank for International Settlements, to which I subscribe, their own interest in XRP. And it was interesting for me to hear it from younger, smarter people than I, like you. And I wouldn't want to comment on the technology because that's not what I do. I'm a lender. The idea that we will soon have a gold token, well, hopefully we'll have 4 or 5 so that they can compete with each other. I think I think it's both inevitable and I think it's imminent.
Whether it's XRP, XLM, or some other token, it is not even just inevitable, it is imminent. Also mentioning the fact that, Ripple and the BIS, well, the BIS obviously has a favorable opinion of XRP, so I wanted to thank Black Swan Capitalist for posting that. Not to mention this, guys, join Project Guardian, an initiative by the Monetary Authority of Singapore focused on tokenization as well. Check out who else is part of this, the ISDA. So these groups are participating in a project that is pioneering the development of standards across fixed income and FX asset management. Just to put it into perspective here, Chad Steingraber bringing this to our attention too, Ripple and XRP, by joining the ISDA, is standing shoulder to shoulder with financial titans. This was from a report from last summer, but this is what the report said here, standing shoulder to shoulder with financial titans. This pivotal move isn't just a small leap for Ripple, it's a giant stride into an exclusive realm. Ripple now stands alongside industry giants like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, the CME Group, and BNY Mellon. Being in the same league as these heavyweights reflects Ripple's emerging dominance in the global financial sector. So ISDA, very important organization here. Part of this project, developing the standards for fixed income and FX across asset management. We got the tokenization of things like gold. That is going to be another use case alongside all the cross-border payment use cases, guys, that we're going to see for XRP down the road. Which brings me back to the 13-cent XRP. And if you saw this video from Alessio Rastani, basically he's bearish on XRP, saying it'll go down to 13 cents. And so one of my Patreon subscribers actually brought this to my attention. So I thought it'd be, a pretty good topic just to do a general video on this. Basically what he's looking at here is XRP structure, okay? Looking at an ABC Elliott wave, the C going down to 13 cents. So a macro trend here, essentially stating that right now we are not in a good spot for XRP. The problem I see with this, and if we were in a general bear market, maybe I could see XRP still going down to 13 cents. He's saying we're going to reach these 2020 lows. That would bring us all the way down back in here, guys. When the beer flu hit, these were extraneous circumstances. This was a black swan event. And what he's saying is that we're doing 1, 2, 3, all the way back down to that level here. Now, what he's not considering is that we are in a overall macro bull market. When you consider that and you consider all the positive events that are occurring surrounding Ripple and XRP, surrounding the lawsuit, surrounding the clarity, surrounding the overall environment in the United States when it comes to trading, surrounding the relisting of XRP, surrounding the use cases, guys, real world use cases that we're likely going to see materialize by the end of the year and into 2025, considering all the partnerships too. Do you really think XRP is going to go down to 13 cents at this point in time? I mean, the narrative does not say XRP is going down to 13 cents. Now, he does give a caveat here. He says, well, that is only if we break through these trend lines here. And I will link his video in the description of this video if you guys want to take a look. I noticed that he does have, a lot of subscribers and a lot of views on this video. So I'm sure many of you guys are probably curious about this. XRP breaking down to 13 cents. I personally don't see it happening. The caveat he brings up too is if we go further down below these trend lines. Personally, guys, I see something very, very different for XRP. I see a shape on the chart that was very similar to back in 2014, 2015, before the pop for XRP that brought it to new all-time highs. So this pattern here, guys, very, very similar to what we saw back here. And we're starting up even higher than where we were back in 2020. So it's going to be when we start to see the altcoins move, is when we're going to see XRP move. A lot of this in the meantime is simply just noise. I personally think XRP is going to surpass its all-time high, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.